This is WKYT This Morning.
Rise and shine. Good morning, everybody. It's so good to have you with us here on WKYT This Morning. I'm Andrea Walker.
I'm Bill Bryant, and here we are. It is Friday, and we are glad you're with us. We have a lot going on this morning. We'll get right to it.
Now at 6, a Lexington police officer is rushed to the hospital after being injured while chasing 2 suspects.
We're tracking a traffic alert in Lexington right now. A crash has left a man fighting for his life.
And for cell phones, now this, what Samsung is saying about reports of exploding washers coming
Well, that's
up.
the UK fans over there. But,
yeah, I think we had the wrong headlines in there.
Too. Yeah, I do too. Yeah,
I think those were yesterday.
Disclosure, it said it's Thursday in the prompter. So
okay.
Give me a little credit for being at least enough to know it's Friday, right?
Right, we do know that much.
We got that all figured out. Okay. They need to be reloading the show now for today's news.
Yes,
okay,
please.
Let's get that straightened up. Here we go, Micah.
I'll just take over weather until we get things taken care of.
You might have to.
Yeah, but you know what? Yesterday and today, they're pretty much the same, so I could talk about yesterday's weather.
There you go.
But
Exactly.
outside right now, here is the look. We have the cloudy skies, mainly dry conditions. There's really not much going on early this morning, so things are looking pretty good. I know we have a shower up toward the northern zones. Heads up for that in the Falmouth community, and all is well everywhere else. So it's one of those mornings that it looks really nice getting started. We're sitting there in the 50s, some 40s too. Danville coming in at 46 degrees. You head over towards, say, Junction City, close to the river. I mean, we're looking pretty good in Perryville, too, as we're holding on there in the mid-40s. Now, as we get in towards your afternoon, we're going to be right there around 64 degrees. There is a smaller chance of rain. That doesn't mean there's no chance, just a smaller chance. And we're going to be talking about the weekend forecast, too, and that's going to be coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, thank you. Now we're good to go, and let's get to the news.
Today's news. Former Israeli President Shimon Peres has been laid to rest.
World leaders, including President Obama and former President Bill Clinton, attended this morning's funeral in Jerusalem. Our Michelle Chamberlain is at our alert desk with details. Michelle?
President Obama just finished speaking to a crowd that's being called the largest state gathering in Israel in more than 20 years. Here's a look at the funeral. The crowd included thousands of statesmen and dignitaries. President Obama brought a large U.S. delegation that included former President Bill Clinton. Clinton brokered a peace deal with Peres and the Palestinians in the 1990s. Both sides won a Nobel Peace Prize the following year.
He lived 93 years in a state of constant wonder.
Peres was a man many considered a champion of peace. The former president and prime minister of Israel was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Obama. Obama saying he was a man who never lost hope, never cynical, a man of faith who believed that tomorrow could be better.
The last of the founding generation is now gone. Shimon accomplished enough things in his life for 1,000 men.
Obama pleading to the next generation to hold on to Peres's beliefs and values. President Obama wrapped up speaking in Hebrew saying, "Farewell, my dear friend." Now, Shimon Peres died on Wednesday. He was 93 years old. Andrea, Bill.
All right. Obviously, a tall leader on the world stage.
Very respected.
Yeah.
Well, this morning, federal investigators are trying to figure out what led to yesterday's deadly train accident in New Jersey.
The packed commuter train plowed into a platform in Hoboken at the height of rush hour. It killed a 34-year-old Brazilian native, and it injured more than 100 others. The train's engineer, Thomas Gallagher, has been released from the hospital and is cooperating with investigators. Richmond police are hoping that surveillance video will help them catch a man accused of breaking into cars. The owner of the Paddy Wagon Irish pub in downtown Richmond says there have been several car break-ins recently. A new security camera system caught this man checking car doors to see if any were unlocked. After a while, he found one that was unlocked.
I was here that night and came back to my car, and a bunch of stuff was missing: my iPad, the case, all my cords, about $20 worth of change.
So far, no arrests have been made in that. Police say recent car break-ins outside the Olive Garden in Richmond Center could be connected.
A former high-ranking Kentucky official will be spending the next few years in prison. A federal judge sentenced Tim Longmire to nearly 6 years in prison. Longmire was personnel secretary under former Governor Steve Beshear. Investigators say he used his influence to steer work for a Louisville company in exchange for cash payments and money for candidates he supported. After admitting his role, Longmire apologized for his actions.
People of the Commonwealth and the folks of state government. and particularly to my community and family. Be that Mr. Longmire occupied not only a position of trust, but a very senior position in state government.
Longmire must report to the U.S. Bureau of Prisons by December 7th. He also must pay $200,000 in restitution.
A man accused of killing a northern Kentucky boy in a crash is now in jail. Mark Ratchford is charged with leaving the scene of an accident and failure to render aid. Police in Campbell County in northern Kentucky say his truck hit a boy who was riding his bike. The boy died from his injuries. Police say he was heading to school at the time of the crash.
A man accused of abandoning dozens of horses at a Mercer County farm has changed his plea. Charles Burrell entered an Alford plea to 9 counts of animal cruelty. The plea means he doesn't admit to the crime, but does acknowledge there is enough evidence to convict him. As part of his plea deal, Burrell will serve 2 years probation. Burrell's daughter, horse trainer Maria Burrell, also faces animal cruelty charges. Police say she's avoided arrest by staying out of Kentucky.
Time now 6 minutes after 6 on WKYT, and UK basketball fans have dealt with cool weather, even some rain, but it's about to all pay off now.
Yeah, they're going to deserve these tickets for Big Blue Madness, which will be handed out tonight. WKYT's Mike Byer is live at Memorial Coliseum along with all the crazy people out there looking ahead to the big event. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Andrea. Not too crazy now. Big Blue Madness ongoers, they are sleeping right now, so few of them have been waking up, few rumbles behind me, but tonight is the night. Tickets will be released, and for these fans, it should be really exciting, as most of them have been waiting all week to get these coveted Big Blue Madness tickets. Now, the tickets will be released at 10 o'clock tonight, which is very exciting. But perhaps what is even more exciting happened last night, as fans were greeted by several UK players and coaches. Some of those players came out and signed autographs and even handed out free pizza. They included Isaiah Briscoe, Isaac Humphries, and Ty Wynyard. What really made the night for these fans was when Coach Cal showed up. He told the crowd that Big Blue Nation is a unique group of people, and then he thanked the fans for enduring the rainy weather during the campout. Now, the tickets, which are free, can be picked up at either of the Memorial Coliseum ticket windows or online from Ticketmaster. As for Big Blue Madness itself, it takes place on October 14th and will air live on the SEC network at 7 p.m. Now, with Big Blue Madness comes many good stories. I have a good one coming up for you at 6:30. Going to want to stick around for that. Live outside of Memorial Coliseum, Mike Byer, WKYT.
All right, you got us hooked.
I know, looking forward to that one. And
that should be fun.
I cannot get tired of that little boy getting picked up by the player. It is just the cutest video.
I keep saying that could be a famous picture someday.
It
Either
will.
He's with an NBA star, or maybe the players with,
a
somebody
future
famous.
NBA star, yeah.
We'll see, right? And we're heading for your weekend now. Let's check weather, and Micah's on duty to tell us what's going to be happening. Changes, huh?
Yeah, big changes, especially off toward deep into your weekend. Not so much today. It's going to be gloomy skies as you walk out the door early this morning. I'm meteorologist Micah Harris, getting you updated on your weather. We're at 49 right now in Bell County. You go off towards, say, Danville, work your way down into Casey, Marion, and then back toward Lincoln County. Good morning to you guys there, and Crab Orchard, and also sitting there in Waynesburg. We're looking just fine. Little fog issue in some spots, especially if you're clearing the skies down south. Watch out for that, as visibility issues are going to be our main issue. Once again, there's just not much rain. There's a couple of showers to the northern zones, and this is it. I mean, what you're seeing there on Defender Radar Network, what I just zoomed into, this is it across Falmouth, across 27. This is heading toward the Pioneer community, just to the north of Grant County, across 75. Go back toward Mount Olivet. That one is already past you, heads up Falmouth. Another one heading your direction. It'll skirt just to the south, well, southern portions of Bracken County. And this that's kind of flowing right just to the south of Louisville, that came through overnight. This is a good, not so much trajectory, but this is a good view of what we're going to be seeing later on this afternoon. It's your hour-by-hour forecast, and this model has picked up on this pretty well, what we got overnight, what we had yesterday. So confidence is pretty high in this forecast for your Friday. That's a smaller chance of rain, not a zero chance of rain, but a smaller chance. I'd say the best opportunity is going to be our western zones, west of 75 today. That doesn't mean you're not going to get any toward the east and south and north. It just means the best chance is back toward the west. Head up 68, 150, BG Parkway, 64 heading toward Louisville. That's your best bet. There is a straight chance at a shower later on this evening for high school football. I don't see much of a chance, but a straight chance. That means a shower here or there, and that's about it. Mainly dry as we head through time. But look at those temperatures. You might want to bundle the kiddos up before they take off. Football players will absolutely love this weather. Hey, follow me on Twitter. Really good pictures. This is from @SeanW.Bowen, that is. That was the sunrise in Frankfurt yesterday morning. Hopefully we'll get a couple of sunrises again. It's a pretty good shot there on Twitter. Today and tomorrow, guys, it's just a 40% chance of rain. That means most stay dry. But Sunday off into next week looks really, really nice. But like I was talking about, those high school football games for the most part will be dry, and neighborhood yard sales for the most part will be dry tomorrow morning too. And those events, I'd say go out to the events. You could have a passing shower, but it's not going to ruin the whole event.
Well, especially if they're indoor Scarefest. Toothless,
Downtown.
the amazing dragon, will be there. So,
Should be
Bill's really looking forward to Toothless, let me tell you.
Should be interesting.
just had fun with that.
I know.
Lexington
funny.
Center tweeted it, and so it's fun, and give them a
That's
little
cute.
retweet on that. All right, 6:10, our time on WKYT this morning.
And each morning at this time, we bring you weather and traffic together.
Hope you're not facing any toothless dragons on your way in this morning. Here is a look at what's happening on the roads, and it looks good. Our map of the region shows you no problems, really. The interstate's running fine. Major corridors like US 27 doing well, too.
Now let's take a look at the Lexington Fayette Urban County Government's live drive cam. We are looking at Leestown and Town Center today, and things are still very clear out here. It was 6:11 in the morning.
People sleeping in just
People
a
still
little bit.
chilling out today.
Maybe they're going
Too
to
cold.
make it a long Friday, you know,
Yeah.
into those football games and whatnot, right? More news coming up on WKYT on your Friday morning. It is so good to have you right here with us.
Still to come, investigators are trying to figure out what led to a passenger train crashing that injured more than 100 people. A closer look at the investigation right after the break. Welcome back into WKYT this morning. The time now is 6:15 on your Friday. Thousands of commuters who travel in and out of Hoboken, New Jersey by train will have to find another way into work this morning.
Big challenges for them. This comes as federal investigators are trying to piece together what led to yesterday's deadly train accident in the city. A woman standing on the platform was killed. More than 100 others were injured. The man controlling the train is now facing questions. Here's Hannah Daniels with more.
I have heavy structural damage. I have people trapped on the train.
The historic Hoboken Terminal building remains closed to commuters this morning as federal investigators work to recover event recorders from the mangled New Jersey Transit train inside.
The canopy of the building is on top of the controlling car. Additionally, because of the age of the building, there is the possibility of asbestos.
Witnesses say the train was traveling at a high speed when it slammed through a barrier and into the platform.
The lights went off and people started screaming.
In the midst of the chaos, strangers stepped in to help the injured, including this pregnant woman.
The baby's fine, but the ceiling of the train fell on my head.
34-year-old Fabiola Batar-DeCroon, a wife and mother, was killed by debris from the crash as she stood on the platform.
It started off as a regular day for that poor woman, and her family no longer has her. So yeah, it's kind of scary.
NTSB investigators are questioning the train's engineer as they try to figure out just what went wrong. The engineer, Thomas Gallagher, was injured in the accident but released from the hospital yesterday. The 48-year-old had close to 20 years of experience as an engineer.
He just loves, I should say he loves his job. We're just so sad, so sad.
Officials will also be looking at whether positive train control could have prevented the incident. The automatic braking system deploys when trains run above the speed limit, but had not yet been installed on the tracks. Hannah Daniels, CBS News, Hoboken.
And officials will be reviewing video from the train's outward-facing cameras to give them another angle. Another accident occurred at that same train station back on Mother's Day in 2011. In that, 34 people were injured.
The South Carolina teenager who allegedly killed his father before opening fire at an elementary school in Townville is expected to appear in court today. The 14-year-old shot a teacher, and two 6-year-old boys on the school's playground Wednesday. One of the students, Jacob Hall, remains hospitalized and in critical condition. The officer involved in a deadly shooting in Tulsa, Oklahoma, will also be facing a judge today. Betty Shelby is charged with manslaughter for the shooting death of an unarmed black man. Prosecutors say Shelby reacted unreasonably when she shot Terrence Crutcher. Officer Shelby will be arraigned later today.
Our time this morning, 6:18, here on WKYT this morning. Great to have you along. ExxonMobil is being sued by an environmental advocacy organization for allegedly leaking chemicals into a Boston area river. The lawsuit says the petroleum company's Everett terminal is in violation of the Federal Clean Water Act. The suit also says Exxon has not prepared the terminal for flooding from rising seas or a large storm. ExxonMobil says they are in compliance with federal rules. Long-term mortgage rates dropped this week to the lowest level since mid-July. Mortgage giant Freddie Mac says the average for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage slipped to 3.42%. That's down from 3.48% last week. Well, some major tech firms are teaming up to research artificial intelligence. Amazon, Google, Facebook, IBM, and Microsoft have created a group called the Partnership on Artificial Intelligence to benefit people and society. They also plan to educate the public and allay fears about other types of AI. All right, with Halloween just around the corner, yeah, it's almost your time, right? The U.S. Postal Office has unveiled their spooky new edition stamps. In the spirit of Halloween, the new stamps feature 4 different jack-o'-lanterns. The Postal Service unveiled the stamps during a Halloween kickoff celebration. That event was held up in Minnesota. So, yeah, we're rolling into October tomorrow, and, you know, here go the haunted houses and all the big events.
Halloween will be here before we know it, and then Christmas will be here also before you know it. So,
off and rolling.
Holidays are here. WKYT this morning is just getting started. Still to come, some scary moments at a Massachusetts state fair when a ride malfunctioned, leaving dozens of people stranded in the air. More on that emergency rescue when we return.
You know, that system's directly over us, which means look all around us. I mean, there's showers and thunderstorms all around us, but not so much over us. So that could be good news for Friday Night Football. What about the weekend plans? All these festivals, events going on. I'm going to break down the forecast for you coming up next.
Good morning and welcome back in. It is 6:23 and we're so glad you're with us this morning on WKYT. It's Friday. That's a good
right.
thing.
Excited about that weekend.
Right.
Well, today, thousands of admirers and dozens of world leaders attended a funeral in a final tribute to former Israeli President Shimon Peres.
And that's what is trending this hour at WKYT News. President Barack Obama and former President Bill Clinton were among the speakers. Perez's family accompanied the casket as it was taken to the National Cemetery at Mount Herzl for the country's burial there. Many of the country's leaders are buried at that location.
6:24 and the wait is nearly over for UK basketball fans. Tickets for Big Blue Madness will be handed out tonight. Hundreds of fans have been camping out since Wednesday, some earlier than that. Big Blue Madness tickets will be handed out at 10 o'clock tonight.
We have some more showers and cool to get through before the promise of better weather late in the weekend. Here's Micah.
Yeah, and we do see those showers. The good news here is that spin is right overhead. You can actually see the spin in the atmosphere right over Louisville. That's good news for us because around us, that's where the rain's located with these type of systems, not so much in the center of them. And we are in the center, so only a small chance of rain for today. Some of those roadways are wet from overnight because we did have a few showers, a few rumbles of thunder. Not only that, watch out for some fog developing. You can see there in Laurel County as you travel 75 and 421 High Rogers Parkway, Cumberland Parkway, especially going by Lake Cumberland. Watch out for some fog in that area. But we go through the day, that small chance of rain will be with us. Off towards your evening, check it out. I didn't take the rain completely out. There's still a 20% chance then. But still, it looks pretty good. 58 degrees, though, to kick off those games. Hot cocoa, I'll absolutely take it, no doubt about it, as those games kick off 7:30 to 8 o'clock. It looks pretty good. Off towards your weekend, Bill was talking about Saturday, still with that chance of rain. But Sunday, you got a really cool event. You got the Fire Prevention Festival. That's going on at Masterson Station Park here in Lexington. It's an awesome event. And if you're like me who has a kid, you know when those nap times are. Well, it's 2 to 6 p.m. So if it's an early nap time, you'll be able to knock it out. If it's a later nap time, like 1 to 3 p.m., you'll still be able to knock it out 4, 5, and 6 p.m. Really cool event, petting zoo, fire trucks out there. Should be great. You should check it out here in Lexington. We'll talk more about these events, the outdoor plans, coming up.
Love the way Micah, can plan things around those naps and kind of...
I know. He gets excited.
Tiring the little man out.
Yeah.
Right. 6:25 is our time on WKYT this morning.
Yeah, and we have actually something kind of scary happened here. New crews captured a dramatic rescue at a Massachusetts state fair.
This was the scene last night after an amusement park ride stalled, leaving several riders stranded. Some were stuck upside down and several feet up in the air. Luckily, crews were able to get everybody off of the ride and safely back on the ground. Authorities say it's unclear why the ride stalled. But there you go.
Scary stuff there.
Hate it when that happens,
Yeah.
right? Okay, there's a brand new baby black rhino at the Great Plains Zoo up in South Dakota.
Yeah, check it out. Look at this little guy. So cute over there in the corner. He was just born last week, weighing 103 pounds. Big baby. Zoo officials say it's a blessing to see the baby born healthy because he joins an endangered species. The zoo says the public will be able to see the rhino in just a few weeks. It doesn't matter what kind of animal it is. The babies are always so sweet.
Always cute, that's right.
Always a big draw.
He'll grow up fast.
What a cutie, I love it.
All right, yeah. Take your pictures while you can. Good to have you with us on WKYT this morning. We're rolling towards 6:30 and the latest news.
When we come back, a Lexington daycare is in hot water after they found several violations in the facility's practices. A closer look coming up at 6:30.
Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $30 million. Tomorrow night's Powerball jackpot is $70 million. And we're glad you're starting your morning the Kentucky way on WKYT.